Hey guys, it's Leon Shift, and look at that. Guess you're wondering what I'm doing on a GSXR today. Well, that is an excellent question. Although at the moment I'm actually headed to the gas pump because this one was left with almost no gas in it, and you can see there the little fuel light is a flashing. I just passed a cop a minute ago, so let's hope that the most excitement that I have is just getting to the gas pump before I run out of gas and not an encounter with one of Henrico County's finest. Of course, speeding through the school zone would make it a virtual certainty that I would have an encounter with one of the finest. So what's on my mind today? And what am I doing on the Supersport? Well, this Suzuki GSXR 750 happens to be my girl's new ride. And she started out on a starter bike, spent a few months on it, got her skills up to a very, very improved level, and decided she was ready to move up to her second bike. A couple months after I did, I got my FZ, and this is what she came up with. And needless to say, I've spent a little bit of time riding it. And first of all, let's just get this right out of the gate. It is an amazing machine. I never thought that I would want to spend much time on any of the Supersports. The riding position felt awkward when I would sit on them or ride them for a short period of time. But you get used to it. And everybody should ride one, I would say. I certainly don't wish that this was my primary vehicle. I'm glad that it's something that I just ride from time to time when we want to switch, or when I steal it from her or whatever. But how does it compare to the Yamaha FZ-07? And that is an excellent question. They're not made to compete with each other, and they're not made to be competitors with each other. So right out of the gate, it's sort of an unfair comparison. This is a 2011 GSXR 750, and so it's a few years older than my FC. But I think the 2015 variety of this lists at 12.5. I want to say might be 13, and that's considering the bike you're getting for it. I don't know that that's a bad price. But I'm going to swing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swing into this gas station here and put an end to the fuel crisis, and then I'll pick this up when I get done in here. So give me a few, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back on the road after fueling up. And that brings up an excellent point, actually. This bike, in addition to being a bit more expensive, when you compare it, let's just say $12,500 to a $7,000 MSRP, has to run on 91 octane or better gasoline. So it's going to cost you every time you fill it up. Needless to say, and not surprisingly, it doesn't do quite as well miles per gallon as the FZ-07. It's a slightly bigger engine, and it's tuned at the high-end performance a little bit more. So, and we've tested that out because we've taken several road trips together where we fill up at the same time, ride for several hours, stop for gas, and it always seems like she's taking a little bit more fuel than I am at the fuel stops. So no doubt this burns a little bit more gas. I do think, though, it's got a slightly bigger gas tank, so the range probably about the same. As far as how the bike performs, it's pretty staggering. I would say that in low-speed maneuvering and off the line, I definitely think the FC has the edge. But sometime around 50 miles an hour, that edge is negated, and the gearing in this is much taller than that FC, so you don't really have to shift until you know, you don't really need to shift into second gear until you're close to 60, and so while I'm shifting 2 or 3 times to get to 100, she probably only shift twice. So that's, every time you shift, you lose a little bit of big momentum. So I would say somewhere around 50 it neutralizes the advantage, and sometime around 70 the advantage squarely swings into the favor of the Gixxer. And that's to be expected. This bike is designed for track use, and it is an amazing machine on the interstate. I've taken it on the interstate a couple of times, and it never feels like it's going fast, which is frightening, because I looked down and saw that I was doing triple digits, and it didn't feel like, I felt like I was going 80 miles an hour. Now, of course, I'm used to riding a naked bike, so I feel the wind a bit more on the FC than I would on this bike. But it's not just that, it's just the bike makes high speed seem effortless. Don't know what the top speed of this bike is, but I would bet 170 or so, something like that. But it's just an amazingly fun bike to ride, even at a reasonable speed around town. You don't have to speed your ass off and make a fool of yourself to have fun on it. I never thought I'd be comfortable on it, but like right now I'm sitting here talking, I've got one hand on my throttle, and it allows me to sort of sit up, and it's pretty comfortable. I could do this for hours. It is slightly cramped in the leg area. Now I'm 6'2", so it's been very few. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I bought the FZ-07. Is it was one of the few bikes I've ridden where my legs didn't feel cramped. But I've ridden bikes that are more cramped than this one, to be sure. I feel like the R6 is a bit more cramped. So anyway, comparing the incomparable, that's pretty much it. You're gonna get a bit more grunt, and definitely a lot easier to turn at low speeds, make a U-turn, park, handle. FZ-07 just is the bike. But once you get moving, the Supersport, you see where the $12,000 goes. Let's put it to you that way. So I'm not recommending everybody go out and buy a Supersport, but what I am recommending, and how we found the Supersport, is Suzuki and Yamaha have had demo days in Richmond in the last couple months, and went to both. And go to a demo day and get on one of the 600s. And they look intimidating. Oh, it's a Supersport. And the fearsome reputation that the Supersports have is well earned. But you can put them in B mode, or safe mode, or whatever each manufacturer calls it. It's different. I know this one's got A and B, and but you can put it in one of the safer modes and at least get an idea of what it feels like to ride one. Most of those demo rides, I think the one I took for Suzuki was 25 minutes, and the one for Yamaha was almost 30. So definitely a good taste of how it feels. You can actually lay on the tank, which I didn't think would be nearly as comfortable as it is, but it is. It's something you got to experience to see if it's something that might fit you or not. So anyway, I guess that's it for today. It's rush hour traffic and not a lot of exciting riding here in Richmond, but I did want to sort of share my experience sort of delving into the Supersport world. So one other thing before I check out, this is the Suzuki GSX 750. Sweet ride. This particular one's name is Kaminari, which is the Japanese goddess of thunder. So, badass name. for a badass bike. I've definitely enjoyed my time on it. So take my advice, try one out, just to see if it strikes your fancy. Even if you decide you don't want to own one, it's just a wholly different type of riding than standard bikes or upright sport bikes or cruisers or anything else. I've been lucky because in my riding time, I've ridden a lot of different styles of bikes. I've ridden a couple cruisers. I've ridden a couple of standard bikes. I've ridden some sport bikes, several Supersports, and they all bring something a little different to the table. So try out some other bikes. If you've gotten on your starter bike and once you've got your shifting and you're comfortable, branch out a little bit. Go to bike nights, find somebody who will let you trade bikes with them, or whatever, and check them out. I think it's made me a better rider, being able to appreciate the different styles of bikes. So anyway, that's it for this time. Enjoy the ride and shift with pride. See you around.